Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Part 2, yeah, y'all, let's get it, y'all. Part 2, yeah, y'all, let's get it. Like, share, subscribe, y'all, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. That jump's crazy, that's all you heard. What happened to your eye, man? What's wrong with your eye, man? The lady just came close the door, boom. So the lady started locking all the bottom doors, boom, 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 boom. But Charles, like, you can still hear Charles. What happened to you, man? Man, you ain't been in the plug 5 minutes yet. So I'm looking like, man, that jump crazy. So she came on top to I go on my cell. I tell my seller was like, yo, what Charles doing? I was like, man, I don't know. I said, you know, he just got a roommate, man. He was like, who was roommate? I was like, I don't know the dude, some little young boy. I said, but I do think that he's part of the blue team, though. He was like, why you say that? I said, because when he first got on the block, they pulled up on him, they talked to him, then they took him to Rick's cell. I said, when they took him to Rick's cell, I said, man, I think they ended up beating him up in the joint, you know what I mean? He was like, man, so what that got to do with Charles? I said, man, I don't know, man. I said, man, Charles acting like that's his freaking son or something, man. I don't know what's going on, man. So I said, we just got to wait down the count, man. So they counted. Count was over with. They pop all the doors. All the doors open up. I step out. I'm trying to be super nosy, so I come down the steps with my cup. I'm like, let me get some ice. So I hit the bottom tier. Charles come out the jump. Charles was like, hey, Weezy, come here. I'm like, huh? He like, come here. He hanging out halfway out and say, he like, come here. I'm like, what's up? He's like, no, this ain't gonna take but a second. Come here right quick. I'm like, I look back. I don't see no blue team numbers. I'm like, I get to the cell. I'm behind the door though. I'm like, what's up? He like, nah, look. He was like, hey, look. Weezy, this is my roommate, Jojo. Jojo, this is my homeboy, Weezy. I was like, hey, we gonna call him Jojo. He was like, what's up, man? I was like, what's up, bro? Kind of looked at him. He was like, he kept looking at the mirror. He was like, bro had a freaking raccoon game. My word, he had the raccoon game. Bro, jump was black. You know, brown skinned people catch that jump. You gonna catch that raccoon game, man. You know what I mean? He had the raccoon shot. I promise you. He was like, what's up, man? I was like, bro, what's saying that, man? His word, Charles was like, look, I'm trying to tell him, look, he said he part of the blue team, but they ain't trying to accept him unless he do all this other stuff they want him to do and all this. I told him it ain't worth it. Tell him I'm right, though. I said, huh? He said, tell him I'm right. I said, Charles, you a funny dude, man. I said, you a funny dude, man. He was like, he was looking like this and I said, he was like, so the young boy was like, I was like, he a funny dude, man. I just dipped. I'm like, what's wrong with Charles, man? So I go get my ice. Charles pull up. He was like, hey, why you ain't back me up? I'm like, bro, listen. I'm not telling that man what to do with his life, man. I'm not hating on those dudes on the blue team, bro. I don't have nothing to do with that, man. So I don't freaking care if Snoop Dogg was his leader, man. Like, if he want to be the blue team, let him be the blue team, bro. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. Got my cup. He was like, well, this is what I'm saying, though. We was like, for real, man, we can't keep letting dudes fall in the trap to that little dude, to that freaking little fat meatball dude, Rick. I'm like, man, listen, relax, man. You gotta relax, man. I said, your seller just got to say you don't know him like that. Chill out, man. Chill out. He was like, no, you see his eye. He was like, man, they beat him up. They banked him in that joint. Man, how you gonna bank somebody that you supposed to be a part of? I said, man, we don't know what's going on. We don't know the politics of what they got going on, Charles, man. Like, you wildin', man. I was like, man, I'm gonna holler back, Charles, man. You need to tighten up, man. I said, man, you staying in stuff, man. I went up with stuff like this. I said, in my last words, I was like, man, you staying in stuff, man. I started walking down the T. He was like, it's like that. I was like, bro, just chill, man. Just chill out, man. I'm waiting to say it. I was like, man, I ain't got time for that, man. Went and looked out the cut. I'm like, sure, the blue team. I look, the blue team was over by Charles' cell now. I'm like, and I looked at Charles. Charles was over there where he be standing there just watching it like, man, Charles a freaking maniac, man. He never mind his business, y'all. So boom. He gonna learn about me because I'm not riding for nothing that I don't think that's riding for. And me and him, I feel like we're not at that level. We're cool, but I'm not going up against a whole freaking squad of dudes just because you feel passionate about what you think about, man. You feel passionate about what they doing wrong. I don't have nothing to do with that, man. But I'm bitten off this. I ain't even gonna lie, because I'm like, at least I could try to save Charles in the process. Now, if I can't save him, he on his own. Like, I know that sounds messed up, but I'm not getting in the middle of this, man. Real talk, man, because it's crazy. I done seen a whole lot of incidents like this, man. So the dude, Jojo, man, like, you know, he's rolling with the blue team. That's what he's doing. You see him, he with them. He with them, you know what I mean? So I guess the banking was kind of like, you know, to get yourself together. I don't know. I don't know what it was about. But the second thing that they did to him, man, was like, they told him that he had to go take this dude's stuff over in 62 pod. Now, I don't know what this dude did. I don't know if he owed the blue team, or I don't know if the blue team just thought he was a cream puff. I don't know. All I know is this, man. They was like, yo, that little dude that just moved in y'all block, he over in 62 fighting right now. I'm like, what? So when I hear the jump, the only reason I heard it is because I'm out in the hallway trying to talk to my homeboy in 63 pod. So I'm at the door. I'm in the salad port at the door trying to holler at him. Dude come out of 62 pod and say, hey, that little dude that just moved in y'all block. I'm like, who? The little young boy? They're like, yeah. He's like, he in there fighting right now. I'm like, who he fighting? He's like, man, some dude and a dude getting off on him. He was like, his two homies over there holding him down though. But he was like, the dude getting off on him. The dude getting off on him. I'm like, shh. I'm like, yo, man, they about to just use young boy Jojo about to be a crash dummy game. That's all they about to use him for, man. Like, that's what I see was going on. So I'm still out in the hallway. So I'm like, man, let me hurry up and get back, because they gonna make that jump hot. I looked in the 62 part is the long big blocks. Y'all know this, they like on a par looking type jump. So I looked in there, they steps way back there. So I just see a couple of dudes coming down the steps. Now they making their way to the slider. So like I'm like, man, let me hurry up and get back in the block. So I'm hitting the button, the lady don't let me in. I'm like, so they jump open. So I see them roll out. I see a couple of blue team members, dude, like, what's up, Weezy? I used to try to talk to one of them a little bit, you know what I mean? Because I used to go down there. He played on the basketball team, and I used to go down there with the coach and just watch the game, something like an assistant coach or whatever. And I used to keep their points and all of that. So he knew me from there. So he like, what's up, Weezy? I'm like, I seen Jojo. First person I looked at was Jojo. I'm like, still hitting the button. I'm like, ain't nothing, man. I'm trying to get in this pod, man. I was like, hitting the button. This word, Jojo walked out like this. Jojo walked out like this. Jojo was like, he did like this to his nose, and I just seen blood on his fingers. He was like, his jaw was scarred, like the black eye was still there. Now he like all scarred right here and stuff. I'm like, yeah, he was too big for me though. Yeah, you see, I fought him though. He was too big for me though. I was fighting though. I'm like, man, what y'all got going on over there, man? He was like, nah, he in training. Yeah, he in training. I was like, what do you mean he in training? He was like, Jojo was like, the door open up, I part open. They start walking in and jump. So I'm still walking, talking to the dude, the blue team. And he like, yeah, he in training. I'm like, bro, what do you mean he in training, bro? He was like, man, he came up here, man. His big homie won't right, his set won't right. And when it's like that, there's only two options. You either get with us and do what we say, or you can just get beat up every time we see you for having bad situations, for having a bad big homie and bad paperwork. I'm like, man, that's crazy, man. So I'm like, so what? He is a blue team member though. He was like, yeah, he blue team, but his set got X'd out, and he started explaining some stuff. I was like, that's crazy. So now I'm like, man. So he was like, yeah, so like he gotta do what we say. He gotta do what we say. And then until we want him in our jump. So I'm like, this jump crazy. So they walked back in. Rick was waiting right on them when they came back in. As soon as they came back in, Rick was right there at the brick wall, because his cell is by the brick wall. So he was standing by the brick wall. They walked back in. He walked over there to Rick. After I started talking to dude, he walked over there. He was like, man, I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? He wrecked him, but you know, like dude got off on him though, man. Dude got off on him, Big Rick, man. Like, I mean, he wrecked though. I looked at Jojo. Jojo was like, he was trying to look tough. He was like, yeah, I held it down. Yeah, I held it down. I'm saying, you held it down, all right. Look at your face, my guy. So boom. Talking about you held it down. You ain't holding nothing down, man. Right now, you just doing whatever these dudes say, man. So like, Charles wasn't even around to even witness that. And I wasn't even gonna tell him about that, you know what I mean? But of course he was gonna find out when he locked down in the cell with his roommate. This is his roommate right here. But I wasn't gonna be the one to tell him this, because I didn't know how he was gonna be able to take this information, because he's acting all passionate about everything that's going on, I don't know. So I'll say probably about the next day. I didn't hear Charles say nothing about that incident until the next day. So when he seen me, he was like, hey, look, let me tell you what this idiot did yesterday. I was like, what you talking about? I had to play green and lie and everything. I'm like, what you talking about? He was like, my homeboy over in 62 pod told me my roommate was over there fighting, getting his butt whooped. I'm like, for real, man? He was like, yeah, man, you didn't hear about that? I'm like, nah, I ain't hear about it, man. He was like, yeah, he a freaking idiot, man. He was like, man, he might gotta go. I don't really want all that around my cell, man. And I don't mess with that dude Rick like that. I don't mess with that dude Rick like that, man. I'm like, shh. Like, just tell him move then, bro. I said, because, bro, listen, you can't get in the way of what they got going on. I said, your celly is his own man, correct? He was like, yeah. I said, well, look, he gonna make his own decisions, man. If he want to get beat up by the blue team and get sent on missions just to be a part of that blue team, man, I said, that's on him. I said, that's on him, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. What you doing, Charles, man? He was like, no, Weezy, I just don't like that dude Rick like that. I just don't like that dude Rick like that, Weezy, man. He be manipulating these young boys, man. Got these young boys running around like he Tookie Williams or something. I'm like, shh. All right, man. Like, I'm just trying to make sure you straight, man. At the end of the day, man. I was like, man, don't be out here trying to fight on the blue team, though, Charles. I ain't gonna fight them. If I put my hands on anybody, it'll be Rick. He said it low. He said, I ain't gonna fight them. If I put my hands on anybody, it'll be Rick. Yeah, it'll be Rick. Yeah, it'll be Rick. It'll be Rick. I'm like, that's crazy. Charles whispered that, y'all. So boom. Because he had to be careful because the dude Rick had a big influence. You know what I mean? Like them dudes he had in the block with him used to roll with him. You know what I mean? So he had the age difference and he was from another state. I want to say he was from Tennessee, to be honest with y'all, man. I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong about this. He probably was from Tennessee or somewhere, man. But like he had he kind of like, I never even seen him in action. You know what I mean? And the man was a diabetic and everything. Like, and I didn't even never see him in action, but he had these dudes rolling for him though. They was rolling for him, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. So like the dude Jojo, like he's so trying to fit in so much, like, you know, he's doing anything, man. So like, I ain't gonna lie, like they made him cook the whole meal. And like, I didn't know this was part of the initiation too. But like, you know, he's just coming from receiving and all that. He hasn't been locked up. So they told him to fix the meal. And while he was outside, they told him to stay in and get all the stuff right. I don't think they really told him to cook it, but like as far as the preparation of things of a swole and the pizza or whatever they was making, like I think they told him to get that right. So when I looked out, when I was on the top tier looking, I seen the dude Jojo going back and forth to the hot water. He was cutting up a pickle or sausages. He was cutting all that stuff up. You know what I mean? He was doing everything he's supposed to do. And it looked like he was enjoying it because it looked like one of the blue team members let him listen to their CD player. You know what I mean? So he got the music on and like, you know what I mean? He enjoying being part of the blue team. He like this, he had the table like. He getting everything right. That's my word. He in a good mood. So Rhett come back. When Rhett came back, the dude Rick walked up to the table. He was like, you finished? All right. He told the young boy, he said, grab that right there and take it in your cell. Like, yeah. We come out after the count, we go finish it. So I see the dude Jojo like, he just standing there. He like, you want me to get my bowl? Rick was like, I'll let you know. And he just walked away on him, left him standing right there. Fingers smelling like pickle and summer sausages, man. I just was like, man, that's crazy. So he dipped on him. So everybody went and did their thing. You know what I mean? So we locked down and came back out. The other blue team member was trying preparing the joint because he already cut up everything they supposed to did. And they made everything. So they make everything. It's my word, they made the whole meal. So they all over that joint eating a pizza. That's what it was like a big pizza. So they out that joint like 7 deep. Everybody got crackers and everybody demolishing. This word, Jojo came out. Finally, Jojo came out. He was like, he tried to go around this way, he want no space. He was like, he went back around the other way, I want no space. Rick was sitting at the middle part. Rick was sitting at the head of the joint, like he was head of the table or something. He was sitting there, everybody else was standing up, crushing. Rick was sitting there. He walked up, he was like, hey, big homie, can I get some? Rick was like, and I made sure I was on the top tier being freaking nosy about this, man, because like I felt like it was gonna be some bad business going on about him making that meal for some reason, man. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, but every time the doors pop anyway, I'm coming out and I'm being nosy. I'm just, you know what I mean? I could have got my popcorn for this because I felt like bad business was coming. I'm just, they right there. I'm like this. Jojo walk up, hey, big homie, can I have some? This word, Rick was like, nah, maybe the next one, not this one. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Matter of fact, here. He got up. He went and said, came back out with 2 soups, 2 chili junks, the green packs. He was like, here. This word, the dude Jojo was like, grab the joints. It's my word. He went over to the microwave. He was like, they over that junk crushing it. They like this. That junk cracking. He had the microwave like this watching him. He like, the microwave ain't too far from him though. He grabbed his 2 suits. He was like, he grabbed one of them. He said, psh. Psh. Right on, Joe. Psh. They on that Joe. That man got broke up noodles now, y'all. So boom. Gave that man 2 butt nakeds, man. That's messed up, man. When I tell you I sat on that top tier and was weak, I went back in the cell. I had to go back in the cell. When I seen him hitting the noodles on the ground, psh, man, I went back in the cell. I was like, oh, I got behind the cut. I was like, oh. I said, yo. I said, man, Rick Petty. I said, man, Rick Petty as hell. I said, that's crazy. He ain't get that man none of that meal. That man cut up all these sausage, pickle soups, all that, man, put it together for him. I'm like, man, that's crazy right there, man. I come back out. I look. I seen Charles standing by the door like this. He was standing by his cell like this. It's my word. The young boy walked back, went back in the cell. Charles going there behind him. I was like, I wonder what Charles saying to his ass. Charles probably telling him, you was a stupid motherfucker. You want to be in the blue team? Yo, dumb ass. You was a stupid motherfucker, man. So I was like, damn, that shit crazy. So they shine on young boy. They shine on young boy, man. They shine on that nigga ass, man. And goddamn, the young boy got down, you know what I mean? Like, I guess he was feeling more and more like kind of like this wasn't for him now. Because you'll go through so much shit, like you will never really know that this isn't for you until like you start getting put through bullshit, man. And like he really probably felt like, man, that this won't for him no more, man. Like they basically was dragging him, like, you know what I mean? Like I seen this happen with the red team before, like, you know what I mean? But like seeing it from the blue team, it was a little different. It was a little different right here. It was a little slightly different, man. But like I just felt like he was gonna be their crash dummy forever, y'all. So boom. So the next day came around. I seen Charles. I ain't talked to Charles that whole day. The other day, I guess he was feeling like, man, Weezy mad at me. I really wasn't. I just really wanted him to do the right thing. I ain't got time, bro, for you to be getting into it with the freaking members, bro. Like, let that be. You know what I mean? So he finally pulled up on me. So when he see me, he like, hey, Weezy, hey, look, man. He was like, guess what my celly told me last night? I was like, what? He had look happy too. He was like, guess what my celly told me last night? I said, what? He said, he don't want to be blue team no more. I said, for real, man? I said, why? I ain't want to act like I knew about the meal and all that. He said, look, I'm super petty, y'all. I'm sorry, man. The joke crazy. I'm like, why? He said, they made a whole pizza yesterday. He ain't get not one cracker. Not one cracker out the whole pizza. He ain't get one cracker, Weezy. He came in the room. They gave him 2 soups. He came in the room and let that soup blow up for an hour. He said, man, that soup was almost bigger than a bowl. He said, man, it won't the pizza, though. They want the pizza. I was like, man, that's crazy. That's so like, because he didn't eat a pizza, he don't really eat blue team no more. He was like, nah. He was like, look, he finally opened up to me. Pause wasn't even invented yet, you know what I mean? But these is his words I'm telling y'all, man. Like, but pause it though, you know what I mean? He was like, he finally opened up to me and told me, man, that, his uncle was in that. You know what I mean? Where he from, his uncle was blue team. So that's how he ended up just wanting to be the blue team. But he was like, his uncle ended up rapping. So like his uncle a known rap. Part of the blue team from the city they from, you know what I mean? He was like, he a known rap. So he was like, that's why they don't like him like that, and that's why they dragging him like that. So he was like, he just thinking about just saying, forget the whole blue team. I told him, look, if you say forget the blue team, I will have your back. I told him I will make sure nobody mess with you. Nobody. So when he's saying that, I'm like, listen, I'm saying, Charles, listen, man. And this is gonna be the last time I tell you this, man. I said, listen, bro. If he leave that blue team like that, I said, man, it's gonna be problems. And if you gonna have his back, you're gonna have problems with them, man. I don't wanna see. He said, nah, we gonna stand up to him, Weezy, because like, I said, man, look, why you just can't mind your business, man? I said, you don't even know him like that, man. He was like, no, it don't matter, he my celly, Weezy. I'm like, all right, man. I said, bro, I'm telling you, man, like, it's not a good idea. I said, I'm giving you the advice right now that that's not a good idea. He was like, man, I ain't tripping about that. I ain't tripping about that, man. I ain't tripping about that. As he was saying that, he was just looking at Rick standing over there with his homies. He was like, yeah, I ain't tripping about that. Yeah, I want to run with his fat ass anyway.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way, if you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous. Did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments get paid for priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart just to open your eyes up.